Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. The lifestyle she wants is all I have to offer. Original post. For context, my 42 male, wife 38 female is a stay-at-home wife by her choice of our two kids 1 and 4 years old. I used to work full-time in a large hospital in our town as an attending oncologist, but due to her needs at home, I have since cut my clinic time in half and make up for the break in my in-person work via telehealth. It's not uncommon my patients get to see my kids as they are meeting bomb from time to time, but admittingly, it's nice to see the smile these unplanned moments bring to both my kids and patients' faces. We by no means have a lack of active support. Both our parents are available and willing to help watch our kids. My income is enough that my wife, if she felt that we needed it, could hire a nanny part or full-time or live-in. And since I shuffled my clinic and worked with colleagues to make it work, I am available almost all but 6 or so hours a day. And even so, during those 6 hours, I frequently step away to make sure my wife and whomever else is helping watch our kids are taken care of. I know she has postpartum depression. She had it with our first, another time with a child she miscarried, and now with our second. I've offered help in all forms, but she reiterates the fact that she just doesn't want to talk to either a stranger or someone who is my friend telling me everything behind her back, because all doctors do that, right? So rather than argue, I try to do my best and make it work for everyone. It's not easy, but it's the best solution for an unavoidable scenario. 3 weeks ago, when I found out via a colleague who frequents the same Facebook mothers group as my wife, that according to her vent post, I as a husband and father, if it wasn't for the lifestyle my husband can provide for me, I would have left by now. He provides no support at home, has no clue how to raise kids and is useless AF. Workaholic who doesn't prioritize me or my kids. And my favorites can easily be replaced. Been talking to my ex, getting some good D on the side and more to come. My husband is so dumb he didn't even notice I've been sneaking money away from our account. All I could do was laugh in disbelief. Equally as so at all the other mothers who cheered her on and encouraged her to get that D-sis, take everything he has. After a weekend of sulking and then bringing it to her attention, and the failed attempt to play it off as a joke, explain, cover, lie about the post and its context as I found proof to everything she said in her post, she expressed that she thinks we need to start from back at the beginning and fall in love again. Long story short, my attorney has taken the past 2 weeks to look at my case, and according to him and his partners, they have enough to present to prevent a lot of the damage she thinks she can cause with the pending divorce via her story and deleting of that post. Her legal counsel is her aforementioned ex, who is an unemployed electrician who was fired for being high on a job, who according to mutual friends, thinks is about to put our house under his name, that my parents bought for us as a wedding gift that we have yet to transfer the title to our names. I'm in a mixed bag of emotions currently. Again, I'm laughing in disbelief at everything, but I'm also crying at the revelation that I wasn't good enough for someone I love and started a family with. I want to ensure our kids grow up with both of us, and when they're older decide who they want to live with more. I'm scared that she will try anything to take our kids away from me completely, and now I am thinking I should fight for full custody. I'm jealous her ex has that much power over her to sway her so easily after all these years as we started dating when before I was a resident. But most of all, I'm angry. After conversation was opened about the proceedings of our divorce, my wife's biggest concern was, well, what's going to happen to me and all that I need and deserve. Her attitude she had when I told her, well, it's not like you don't have the means to go back to work like before. Her argument, it's not the same. How can I provide for the kids if I have to work? Before our kids, her annual income was around 65 to 70K a year, which by no means bad. For those wondering, I before any honorariums and external funds from private ventures, have a base of 355K a year. Nothing about the kids or her mother whom I financially and medically support because they did not have the means to do so. Nothing about us before, during, or moving forward afterward the divorce. It's only about her and what she wants and needs, and I wish our children were old enough to be able to comprehend all of this. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Get DNA tests on both kids as soon as possible. I second this. Who knows how long she's been carrying on with the ex. Sounds like the type that would have no problem passing his kids off as yours, so she can maintain a good lifestyle and still have him on the side. Definitely DNA test your kids. I'm also crying at the revelation that I wasn't good enough for someone. It's the other way around. She isn't good enough for you. Exactly. I was sad to read this part and see how OP is internalizing what she did and is not seeing his own worth as a result. First thing to do, get DNA tests for both your kids. Do it without letting her know, so that if they're not biologically yours, you will be the one who decides whether or not you want to keep being their dad. If they're yours or you decide to keep being their father, fight with everything you have for full custody. Your kids need stability and love. I don't see that your wife is able to offer either. Second thing to do is to ask your attorney to help you protect your assets, so that if anything should happen to you, they would go to your kids, but that your soon-to-be ex could have absolutely no way to get her hands on them. Once this is done, signed, notarized, and everything, let your soon-to-be ex know about it. You don't want to risk having an accident before the divorce is definitive. Good that the house is still in your parents' name. Leave that so until after the divorce. Tell your attorney to wreak havoc. Depending on the state he's in, the DNA of the children doesn't matter. If he's on the birth certificate, he is legally their father and legally responsible. And now for the update. First and foremost, thank you all for taking the time to share some positive messages and comments. I've taken the time to read all of the comments as of this update, and I wanted to give a little more background and info. My wife and I have been together for 15 years, married for 6. Never really was pressured into marriage, but with our plans to have kids, naturally it made sense for coverage and benefits. Her first stint with PPD with our first was a roller coaster and had the same problems minus the need for me to be home more and the infidelity. We made it through and was actually recovering positively from it up until she gave birth to our second. Personally, I knew this time around it would be like being hit by a truck. I just didn't expect this. Our kids are ours. Upon admission into the hospital, you can opt for paternity testing to be done right away. I didn't think much of it other than why not? I'm already paying for childbirth, might as well get everything that comes with it. STD panel, I'm in the clear. Once I found out everything, I went and had a full panel of lab work done while I was at the hospital for my clinic. I am not out to make this a revenge story. As I said, this was 3 going now on 4 weeks ago. Throughout my life, I had theoretical contingency plans and paperwork on hand if needed for many what-if scenarios, like living wills, power of attorney, a list of trusted executors of X matters, and so on. On that note, I suggest anyone who does not have that lined up to please do. I've been in many situations where family members literally have gone to war in the hospital over unexpected events. I don't plan to drag this out longer than necessary, and to be honest, I would have nothing to gain from potentially financially ruining her and her new partner in crime. I am still hashing out the details, but thanks to the support of the people around me, not only have I consulted with my attorney and his partners, I have also had conversations with a previous judge and other tenured lawyers in regard to how can I make this an amicable settlement. For the record, I love my wife, I just hate who she had become. PPD is a sickness, as another poster stated. It changes a person, and in some cases, it's like a switch. If this was who my wife was truly and hid it for the past 15 years, I can't say anything other than it is what it is. No, I'm not looking to make amends and try again. I've made it clear to her, her family, her friends, that I'm done. My focus on life was at one time the 3 of them, but now it's only for our kids. I have not and will not kick my wife out until either one. I am forced to, or two. My attorney states it's best she leaves. We are sleeping in separate rooms, and I've given her an open door policy where she's free to come and go as she pleases, just don't take the kids with you. Her mother is actually enforcing this rule since this all came to light. She and my mother have temporarily moved in to help and ensure the kids' best interests are being looked out for. At the end of the day, she is still the mother of my children, to me that still deserves some merit given the circumstances. I won't give any false pretenses that I want us to work it out and still play house. She could pack and go live with her ex for all I care, but I could not in good conscience leave her to sleep in her car or wherever else due to my actions. We live in a one-party consent state. My wife also seemed to forget that our house has a pretty robust CCTV system that has a 24/7 surveillance that is saved. I'll spare you the details of the proof found in the system. With that, phone, bank, social media, and her GPS tracking records, my attorney is having a field day. A comment caught my eye, so just for clarification, traditionally we did not hold clinics via telehealth, but thanks to COVID and restrictions, that we had no choice but to implement this option during the height of the pandemic in 2020 to 2021. A patient on active treatment has to come into the hospital in person. To this date, many cancer hospitals still have visitor restrictions and offer telehealth options for patients who are being seen for follow-ups for survival and general reasons. Many of the larger academic centers have also implemented teleservices for clinical research in which we also explain protocols and collect their informed consent. I do not only work 6 hours a day. I dedicate 6 hours when working from home solely to work and still report in person for clinic twice a week, and I'm on call 1 weekend a month. My apologies if there is a delay in updating. More than likely I will later do so again this week, given my schedule and meeting with everyone regarding my next moves. Thank you all again for taking the time to read and comment if you did. I hope each and every one of you have a great rest of the week. Just venting. Last story. I asked my wife for a break after she called me a good-for-nothing drunk. I have been with my wife for 5 years, married for 3. When we met, I told her about how I was a newly recovering alcoholic. I had been sober for 2 months when we met, and that if she wanted to leave, she could. She said no, and our relationship bloomed. She was there for me during the good times and the bad. Whenever I wanted to drink, I would think about how it would implode our relationship, and now I'm proud to say I haven't drank for 5 years. During Christmas, I got a gift from a coworker who didn't know I was in recovery, which was a bottle of alcohol. I thanked him while saying, "Thanks, but I'm actually a recovering alcoholic, but I appreciate the gesture." I placed it on a shelf in my office so that whenever I saw it, it would remind me of how far I've come. Last week, my wife and her sister, who had come to stay for a few days, were in the living room when I got home. My wife was upset, and her sis was consoling her. Obviously, my first thought was, is she okay? My wife looked at me and took out the bottle that had been in my office. However, the thing was half empty. She asked me how long I'd relapsed for. I told her not since 5 years ago. She wouldn't believe me. She said that her sister said she saw me drinking with her own 2 eyes, and that she was right, that I was a good-for-nothing drunk and I always would be. The word stung. I couldn't believe my wife, who I'd loved for 5 years, would say that. So I just quietly got my stuff and started to walk out the door. It took everything in me not to cry, and I'll admit I was pretty shaken up. As soon as I sat in the car, the tears started coming. I went to the bar to forget about it. I almost drank but decided not to, as it would prove what she said about me. I left and went to my mother's house. She believed me and welcomed me in, and I've been staying here for the week, working and trying to not think about my wife. Today she called me, crying, and said she was so sorry for not believing me. Apparently her sister was the alcoholic, and when my wife had found the bottle, she put the blame on me. That day my wife had found her drinking the rest and kicked her out. Have to say I was glad. She then asked me if we could forget this happened. I said no, that it was too painful, and that I wanted to take a break to see if I wanted to forgive her. She got angry and hung up. So there it is. I'm sitting here in my old room at my mother's house, with no house and no wife. I can't believe that's where I am right now. I'm still thinking about things and just thought I'd share. Got any advice? Now for the advice. She's been waiting long time to break that one out, huh? Yeah, no one just pulls that phrase out of thin air. Yup. Sounds like she's waiting to let it rip. Lots of bad signs here. That she believed her alcoholic sister over her alcoholic husband. That she has been holding on to this judgmental resentment for OP's prior alcoholism, despite the fact that she had never even been around him drinking. That she thought she could just blow it off and OP would forget about it. And that she's angry that he didn't. Obviously there's more to the story, always is. But from what you've described here, your wife sounds self-centered and mean OP. She has no right to be angry at you. She needs to earn your trust if she wants to make this work, not vice versa. Although if you can't go back regardless, I totally understand. I support you either way, and I'm very proud you've remained alcohol-free this whole time. Congratulations on staying sober for 5 years. That is an accomplishment that you should be proud of, and I am so sorry that this happened to you. I am glad that you stayed strong and didn't take that drink at the bar. You are not a good-for-nothing drunk. Your wife was extremely disrespectful to you when she accused you of drinking, and again when she hung up on you. She has no right to be angry with you as you are the injured party. You have every right to take some time to get yourself together after being blindsided like that. Please stay strong and go to meetings. You deserve better than the way you were treated. Good luck. Your wife does not want to be held responsible for her actions. She is trying to manipulate you to get out of it. She's going to go at this every way she knows how. Her next move will be to offer intimacy. Then she'll say if you were a man, it wouldn't bother you. Then she'll cry, and if you ignore the crying, you'll know it was BS because she'll immediately get angry. She'll going to bring up every intimate thing you've ever told her and throw it in your face. Do not get angry nor react. Anything you do now will be exaggerated when she retells the story. That's why she's doing it, so she can score social points and get others to take her side and make you question yourself. Just let her be hysterical. You did everything you could. Good job. If you do this, there's a chance she'll confront what she did and take accountability. Once she does that, and only if she does that, can you decide if you can continue your relationship. Good luck. I'm proud of you. 5 years sober is nothing to sneeze at. Your wife needs to hold herself accountable for her behavior. If she doesn't, then I can't see how this relationship will work. Regardless, before you try to reconcile, you gotta get her to commit to doing couples therapy to work through this. You pick the therapist and you don't move back until at least a few sessions. She hurt you in a horrible way and needs to understand that there's a lot of trust she needs to work to rebuild if she has any hope of making things right. Don't allow her to rug sweep, and don't you rug sweep either. She wronged you. If people who you're close to ask why you're staying with your mom, tell the truth. Not in a vindictive way, and maybe not the whole truth, but enough to say she's screwed up and you need space. This is the proper answer. This kind of thing cannot be ignored. But if this is the only problem they're having, then it is definitely worth looking into couples counseling. They need to look into why she so readily believed he had relapsed, with no signs other than a half-empty bottle, and why her initial reaction was to reject OP instead of getting him help, like a supportive wife would do. I can't imagine rejecting my husband and imploding my perfectly happy marriage over a half-empty bottle and a well I saw him drinking alone. She also needs to go no contact with the sister who would steal and lie to them like this. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. I stayed with my fiancé, and it bit me in the butt. Original post. I, 28 male, have been with my now fiancé, 29 female, for 11 years. We were high school sweethearts. As of late, all my fiancé wants to do is go to bars and drink with her new friends and co-workers, and it's really starting to bother me. For some context, as I mentioned above, we've been together for 11 years. I was a football player in high school, so I have had a more athletic build. She was more of a loser in high school, not trying to be harsh, just being honest, so she was more lonely. With me being an ex-football player and going to college, I got invited to parties and gatherings constantly. She's always been unsure of herself, so she really didn't want me to go to those gatherings. She insisted that I was going to find someone better than her there, so I shouldn't go. I'm more of a homebody anyway, so I didn't mind not going. Don't get me wrong, I would have liked to attend some of the gatherings, but I would rather comfort her more by not going. Fast forward the last 2 years, and she just started her new RN nursing job. We both have really good jobs and make good money. She started getting invites to hang out with friends after work. I'm not a jealous guy, so I don't care. We both work overnight, so she would go to breakfast with her co-workers in the mornings after work. Again, I'm not worried about it, but the breakfast in the morning slowly progressed to where now she's going bar hopping with her friends at night and not getting home until 3 in the morning. She lost some weight in that time, so I attributed it to being more confident. We're saving for a house, planning on having kids soon, and I just proposed in December, and she wanted to be married by Feb 2023. With all that I mind, I've been grinding my butt to save extra money, picking up overtime shifts when I can, and making lifestyle sacrifices. One day she asked me if she can go to a bar with her co-workers for his or her birthday. Mind you, she had already been out 3 different times for co-workers' birthdays this month. So I told her I didn't think it was a good idea and she should give it a little break. She got upset with me, telling me I'm not letting her live her life the way she wants to live her life. She also said since I would, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I was originally scheduled off for that day, but I picked up an overtime shift. I told her that, and she got upset. Now we're broken up and trying to figure it all out. She says that I shouldn't hold her, not allowing me to go places over her head. I told her that I'm not trying to hold it overhead, but we have life goals that require something different than just going out all night and having a good time. I told her I'm all for her going out, but can she do it in moderation? Maybe instead of going out with friends 4 times in 1 month, maybe she could go with them 2 times in 1 month and pick up 2 overtime shifts. She said she doesn't want to do overtime on her days off like I do. She now saying I'm too demanding. Like if she wants to get tattoos all over her body, I should allow that. If she wants to smoke weed and party, I should allow that. I told her I'm not trying to stop her from doing what she wants to do. I just won't be here standing by until she's ready to get this family life back on the road. Am I wrong here? I'm losing my mind. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. You two are totally at different stages of life right now. She's found herself and wants to go out and explore and have fun. She's not ready to settle down and have a family. You, on the other hand, are. People grow at different paces. It's probably best you two not get married because otherwise there could be some strong resentment. Time apart may help her see what she really wants, but that may not be home life. You shouldn't compromise on what you want either. Starting over sucks, but being miserable and unhappy is far worse. That sounds reasonable. She wants to have a cake and eat it too. This happened to me, like almost exactly. Red flags everywhere, and I mean like really real ones. Like me having 3 jobs to keep up with his old family money lifestyle, while he goes to raunchy bars type red flags. Married the guy like a goddamn idiot. He got my prime years. We had 2 beautiful children together that haven't had the best childhoods because we're freaking idiots and don't get along. He ended up leaving me for a good friend of mine. Now I look back and I think to myself, you moron. Don't be like me. I also didn't go to college to be with him. Obvious major insecurities and psychological issues which led to my choices. I'm currently wrestling with this. We grew apart years ago, was pretty sure it was gonna end the summer of 2019, but I got pregnant. We stayed together for the child. More his decision than mine as I was ready to leave, but my childhood made me go all in. Now, it's been 1 year since we started working on the relationship. I have been astonished, depressed, and embarrassed for how far we took things, let things go, and how stubborn we both were. We should have gone our separate ways, but we didn't, and this path is extremely difficult and not what I wanted for my life per se. I love our child and I am lucky, but not happy. I can finally smile for the first time in years barely this week, and that is because of the time I finally put back into myself. I should have been strong enough to see and act on us growing into 2 different places, but I was tired of being alone and didn't want to throw in the towel too soon. Now, I am the loneliest I have ever been in a life I wish I could be happy with. You grew apart, dude. The only thing I see wrong in this relationship is that allowing the other to do something is a thing. You are deciding for different things on life right now. What can you do? What can anyone do? We all should find what makes us happy and follow that path. It just seems like your path is not together with hers anymore. It sucks, that's it. I agree that they grew apart, but I also think that he is being a little too much asking her not to go out 4 times a month with her friends or co-workers. That just seems like a non-issue to me. I'd totally get it if it was 2 to 3 times a week, but averaging once a week seems totally fine to me. If we're playing that game, she asked for too much since she wanted the commitment, and is now backing off. It isn't about the number of times that's the issue, it's the finance they both need to save for the future, and she's falling back on it. So, it's either neither's fault or both had some part in this. Honestly, to me it sounded like when she got her new job and new friends, she started to look for a new boyfriend too. I've never known a woman in a committed relationship who went partying that often and wasn't cheating. Now for the first update. Thank you for all the replies. Most comments seem to agree. For the few that say why is 4 times too much per month? It's not about the times per se. It's more about me committing to furthering our future, while she only wants to go out and have fun. If she was going out on average 8 times per month, I would ask her to go out 4 and pick up 4 overtime shifts. I know she's a nurse and we both have trying tough jobs, but drinking 2 to 4 times per week and bar hopping isn't the answer. I also forgot to mention that she's the one who was asking for more of a commitment prior to her starting her new job. She told me that we had been together too long for her not to at least have a ring on her finger or a child. She wanted all this first. When we were 22 to 25 years old, she would want me have a child with her. I was uncomfortable at the time because I wanted to be settled in my career first. I grew up with a tougher lifestyle, so I wanted to make sure I could take care of my children by myself comfortably if it had come to that. So, I've decided to break up with her and get my ring back, which I spent over 15 grand for. Now she's literally on her knees begging, pleading, and asking for forgiveness. I told her that I'm over this relationship, and now all she's doing is crying. Sucks it's had to come to this for her to truly understand how I was feeling, but it is what it is. Thank you everyone for the advice. I'll see what happens from here. I see a lot of people saying that I'm controlling. I'm not one to look past criticism, but I have to say I disagree. When she says I'm not allowing her to do stuff, should have been worded better. What I mean by that is she wants to seemingly be tatted from head to toe. She wants to be out trying Molly, weed, mushrooms, etc. because that's what her friends are doing. I'm sorry, I would rather not have a girlfriend or fiancé with tattoo everywhere and does hardcore substances. In addition to that, she already has 3 big tattoos on her person now, from the top of her shoulder to her elbow type tats. I like what I like, and nothing can change that. When I say allow, what I'm actually saying is, she can do whatever she wants to do. However, if I don't like what she does, I have every right to leave, right? Am I wrong for not wanting a wife that's tattooed from head to toe and does mushrooms? As for the people advising I should just talk to her more, this same attitude has been going on for 7 months now. I talked to her when I first began to notice the change, but nothing has changed. Today was my breaking point. I hope I addressed most concerns. Lastly, for the people saying 4 times a month is not that much, I'm not saying 4 times is too much. I'm simply saying could she at least implement some overtime in there somewhere. That way, she could live her best life, while also showing me that she's still working towards our life goals. Last thing is some of you guys are pricks lol. I'm literally asking for advice. There's no need to be harsh to either me or her. Just give advice. That would be greatly appreciated. Now for the update 10 months later. Hello guys, back at it again. So, in my last post, I was talking about how my fiancé was starting to go out with her friends more. I don't really want to rewrite the entire post, so hopefully you can see it. Long story short, I found out she was cheating on me today. The crazy thing is, I was truly getting ready to leave her around the time of my last post. I was done, but she got pregnant. I stayed with her trying to make it work, and she was cheating the entire time. Basically, I've been working overtime a lot because she doesn't get paid for her baby bonding time. Since she doesn't get paid, I picked up the slack and worked. We have Ring cameras throughout the house that consistently pick up motion. While I was at work, I repeatedly would get a notification of motion detected. It's not uncommon for her to be up this late, due to us having a newborn and the baby consistently being hungry. I go and check the camera, and I hear she's on the phone. On the camera it sounds like she's on the phone with a guy. I'm thinking to myself, that's strange, let me call her and see who she's on the phone with. She says, oh, I was on the phone with my friend. The friend she was referring to is a female. I tell her to go watch the video because it sounds like she's on the phone with a guy. She says no, she wasn't on the phone with a guy. She was listening to a video of a guy talking while talking to her friend. At this point, I'm on high alert. I'm trying to figure out how to catch her lie blatantly because she's adamant that it was the video of a guy talking that I was hearing. So, here's what I do. I didn't want to tell her to send me the contact of her friend, because her friend would obviously lie for her, and she would delete the guy's number. Spoiler alert, she had the guy's number under her friend's number. So I FaceTime her. I have her screen share with me. I then have her go to her friend's contact, and said it's strange, why is there 2 numbers listed? She says oh her friend has 2 phones so she had both number. I say okay. I call the first number on my work phone, and a guy picks up the phone. Shaking my head. She finally admitted to talking to the guy for a year, but she claims she hadn't cheated with him. She started talking to him when we were going through a rough patch in our relationship. I've always told her that if she wanted to be with someone else, she could just leave. I'm not a cry for you type of guy, and I would respect her a lot more for just being honest about her wanting to be with someone else. It sucks. I've been with this girl for 11 going on 12 years as high school sweethearts. I'm not a bad-looking guy, and I've turned down a lot of women to be faithful to her. She literally wasted a ton of my life that I could never get back. We just had a kid and bought a house together. Now all of that is over with. So I guess the moral of this story is don't ignore the signs of cheating. Her phone would always be on Do Not Disturb. She suddenly wanted to be out with her friends. She would do other suspicious things that I just can't think of right now. I will be getting a paternity test on the child to see if he's mine. Just heartbroken and torn. I'm also not the kill myself type, so don't worry, lol. Just need some time to get over the heartbreak. Thanks for reading. Edit. To add to the heartbreak, I learned that the guy she cheated on me with is 37-year-old with 5 kids. For comparison, I'm 29 with no kids, except the one I might share with her. I make $150K a year with a really stable job. She's also 29, he's a hospital janitor. Can't make this crap up, dude. She cheated on me with him after knowing him for 1 month. She hooked up with him and went down on him in his car on their lunch break. You can't make this stuff up. About time someone on Reddit understands you don't have to stay in failed relationships. Good luck, mate. Though, my wife cheated on me with both my brothers and the majority of my close friends. How can I make things right? You don't, big man, you leave. Why did he stay with her after that first post? Even without the cheating coming to light, they had simply grown apart to the point of incompatibility. He'd matured and was trying to build a life for them, or at least for himself, whereas all she cared about was the next good time. He said he stayed because she got pregnant, but unless it caused her to rethink and settle down, which it clearly did not, then I can't see any reason to stick around. Life tip: if you are in a relationship and the relationship itself is making you unhappy, get out of it. Kid or no kid. Sunk cost fallacy. I've seen so many miserable relationships because of this. She got pregnant because they were still doing it even though he was unhappy and was eventually planning on breaking up with her. Life tip: don't sleep with people you're questioning your relationship with. I have several guy friends who I stated they were trapped by various relationships and were desperate to get out, but not unhappy enough to stop having unprotected coupling and making babies with them when they had no kids, so could have had a clean break to start with. Happened to my uncle. Towards the end of their divorce, my aunt got pregnant with their 3rd kid. What's worse is that the age difference between him and the middle child was 11 years. My poor cousins are doing their best to abide by their mother's rules for the safety of their youngest sibling and are ready to pull him out from under her care once he's of age. For context, she feeds my youngest cousin one box of pizza a week, always naps, prevents socializing because she doesn't believe in having friends, leaves the house unclean for years, constantly yells at her children, isolates them from family, prevented the oldest from attending our grandmother's funeral because she wanted to take her out someplace else to grieve but changed plans to go out drinking with friends, and so on. 3 lives completely altered outside of their control because my uncle couldn't resist one of the worst kinds of people to become a mother one last time. I can never forget the heat he got from the rest of our family, including my cousins, when it happened. This idiot banging her janitor and dealer for scores when she could have just grown her own mushrooms at home. Shaking my damn head. Pro tip folks, the couples that trip together stay together. Lol, okay, seriously though, that's just my take, but I will say I knew from the second I read the title that she was cheating. I honestly didn't see that coming. I may need more coffee. I didn't see it coming that she desperately wanted to stay in the relationship. I fully expected her to be a bit sad, but ultimately relieved because it sounds like she's reliving her late teens, early 20s when she was just a loser, and that they had just developed in different directions and aren't compatible anymore. To me, it sounded like her expectations and life goals were shifting to something else. I'm surprised that she apparently still wanted to settle with him and live the standard ring house baby by 30 life. I'm not necessarily surprised by her cheating, I just kind of expected something like her not having the guts to end the relationship because of the sunk cost fallacy, but welcoming it if he ended it. To be honest, he gives me I was one of the cool guys, my girlfriend is so lucky someone like me dates her vibes. It's a weird story. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Really wish I would have just stayed home. Original post. My girlfriend came over to my apartment today to study and do some homework, as she still is in university. When she arrived and started to unpack, she noticed her laptop wasn't in her bag, and being the good boyfriend I am, I told her to not worry and that I will drive over to her house and grab it. I really wish I hadn't. My girlfriend still lives at home and I am really close to her parents, both of us are. In fact, I see them as my own. Reason being, my parents are toxic, and it's best to go no contact with them for my own sanity. Her father, on the other hand, is a positive male role model in my life. Great job, positive attitude, and always gives good advice in my opinion. He's a great guy, not much else to say. I think highly of her mother as well, caring, loving, and always supportive of my relationship with her daughter. They both love me, and it's the reason why today shocked me to the core. I have a key to their house, and as I entered in living room, his first room upon entry, I see my future mother-in-law and some stranger doing it. Fully nude, not hiding anything. As soon as they saw me, my mother-in-law started panicking, and both ran into the back of the house away from me. I heard my mother-in-law cursing over and over. As soon as I realized what was happening, I just backed out of the living room and stood on the front porch. I honestly didn't know what to do. It didn't feel like my place to confront them as it's not my fight, so after about 5 minutes, I re-entered to see the stranger walk past me out of the door, followed shortly by my mother-in-law. As he left, she looked at me and started crying. She broke down and tried explaining the situation away, how their marriage had been suffering, and how she loves father-in-law but feels so unsatisfied. She begged me not to say anything, that it was a mistake and it would nuke the family. She was hysterical. I just sorta looked at her. What was I supposed to say? The begging wouldn't stop, she even grabbed onto my shirt. She wanted me to not say anything and let it be swept under the rug. I told her flat out that I'm not lying to save her. She then begged to be the one to tell father-in-law to at least give her that. So in the interest of getting the heck out of there, I just said sure and went to retrieve what I was there for. I then went immediately home. I haven't told my girlfriend yet as she's still working on assignments, but I plan on telling her afterwards. I'm sad. It's devastating knowing that the comfortable family I found and felt finally a part of is about to be nuked into the sun. I can't imagine how my father-in-law is going to take this. He's a good guy and definitely doesn't deserve getting his heart broken like this. I'm also sad for what my girlfriend is about to hear and what will come of it. It's such a huge shitty situation that I wish I never had any part of. My poor girlfriend and father-in-law. Now for the top advice before reading the update. My man, you need to tell your girl what you saw as soon as possible, in case your mother-in-law throws some accusations on you. Trust me when I say that you need to say something now. Tell her now, otherwise it will come out one way or another that it was an information you held onto. It's not your responsibility to shield her mother from shrapnel. Tell your girlfriend, and tell your father-in-law exactly what you saw and what she said. I feel so bad for your girlfriend and her dad, and obviously for you, since you were out in such a horrible position. By the way, that wasn't a mistake. That was a choice she made to bang someone else in the home her husband and daughter live in. There's absolutely no excuse. And now for the update hours later. So I told my girlfriend everything I saw when she finished her homework. She was devastated and crying like I have never seen before. We talked for a good few hours, where she disclosed to me that her mom had cheated on her father once before when she was just a child. The affair partner was a boss from her work, and had gone on for a few years by that point. She only knew about it later down the line because a family member told her. After I settled her down, I could tell her sadness turned to anger. Around 2 in the morning she insisted we go confront her mom and tell her father everything. I tried talking her out of it, and to do this on another day and at a better time, but she doubled down saying her mother doesn't deserve peace. So, we ended up at her parents' house in the middle of the night as they were just settling into bed. The look on my mother-in-law's face was obvious. She knew what was coming. It was messed up. I have never seen my girlfriend scream and cuss someone out so hard. Every single possible insult was used. My girlfriend told her mother that she's going no contact for good. When things calmed down, her father was clearly baffled and had a lot of questions. I told him everything. What I saw, what I was doing, why I was there, and what mother-in-law said to me. I could tell I just sank this poor man's heart. His eyes filled up with tears, but he just remained silent. I guess she hadn't told him, which I knew was the plan all along. Typical freaking cheaters. After another 20 to 30 minutes of cussing, screaming, and crying, I was able to get my girlfriend and I had to leave. I felt so bad for her and father-in-law. I felt responsible for destroying what I thought was a beautiful family. I mean, I don't regret at all spilling the beans, but I just wish I wasn't at the center of it all. I don't want to break the hearts of the people I love. Feels like a nightmare and reality was just turned upside down. When we got home, I got a text from father-in-law saying thanks for being honest and transparent with him. He said he loves me and that we will get through this. He's a great guy. I just can't believe that piece of crap woman did this to him. After a night of little to practically no sleep, I got out of bed this morning and made some breakfast for my girl. We talked and I think she's handling better now, but still not great. I invited father-in-law over if he wanted a place to stay or just to lay low for a while. He surprisingly took me up on the offer and came over shortly after. Girlfriend, father-in-law, and I had a pretty lengthy conversation on how he felt and what the next steps are. He looked disoriented, but managed to handle himself well, given all that has happened. It's clear he's deeply in love with mother-in-law. He kept saying he wants to try and fix it. Girlfriend and I both think that's a bad idea. He told us that the person mother-in-law originally cheated on him with was the same guy she was hooking up with. It had been over a decade since she was first caught and must have kept this man in the shadows. I can't believe he's willing to work through this knowing that. I couldn't at all. My girlfriend later asked where her mom was. Apparently, she left in the middle of the night after we left. No one knows where she's at, and I wouldn't be that surprised if she was at her affair partner's house. Honestly, I'm sick to my stomach over it all. I feel like I destroyed a family. The people who I really care about are broken and hurt. It really sucks. I hate it all and wish people would just be decent human beings. I can't believe he's willing to work through this knowing that. I couldn't at all. They say that love is blind, but sometimes it's also stupid. You said your piece, man. Also, when you spend the majority of your life with someone, throwing it away can feel scary as hell. Everything in your life is built around this person by now. What will your life even be like without them? Fear of the unknown can be terrifying at the best of times. But add to that heartbreak and despair, I can get wanting to just ignore it and make it go away. Also, expensive as hell. We have no idea what this would do to his retirement plans if they did divorce. Fixed income is no joke. Honey, you didn't break their hearts. Girlfriend's mom did. You did the right thing by telling your girlfriend as soon as you could. I also think your girlfriend did the right thing confronting her mother in person, therefore making sure her father would know the truth. Because you know his wife was never going to tell him. I fully support going no contact with her mother. Let her father know you're both there for him. You personally might do a lot for him simply by telling him how you see him. He really needs to know he's loved and supported through this. You clearly respect and love this man a lot, and right now is the time to turn up the volume on showing him. Thank you for supporting your girlfriend through this and how you handled it. You did nothing wrong. All of you, your girlfriend, her father, and the rest of her family excluding her mother, will come through this stronger. I love him for his text to you after. A guy like that deserves so much better. He kept saying he wants to try and fix it. Hell, I'll say it. Father-in-law doesn't love himself. I see no reason why other people, mother-in-law in this case, should have any respect for someone with no sense of self-worth. Dude got cheated on twice, and he's gonna stay in that relationship. At this point, maybe he's into cuckolding or something. Having said that, you and your girlfriend did the right thing, and you have no reason to feel guilty. Mother-in-law is 100% the villain in this story. Father-in-law deserved to know and he made his choice. There is nothing neither you nor your partner can do about it. Good luck. You post this a night after your first post, correct? Take some rest, honey. You're overwhelmed with emotions, and tell your girlfriend and father-in-law to do the same. The emotions are still high and raw, and I'm afraid for you three making drastic decision. For my thoughts, I don't think father-in-law deserves mother-in-law another chance. Everyone deserves a second chance, and your mother-in-law certainly does not need a third. She broke your family, OP. She kept this man for years. You and your girlfriend had to be there for father-in-law. Sometimes when people can handle traumatic stuff are usually numb, and hence they act cool to distance themselves to the painful emotions. I hope you get through this, OP. Don't post for a while and rest and take some sleep and be there with your loved ones, so you can be level-headed when asking questions to mother-in-law. You can write down your feelings and details to extend the pain your mother-in-law caused. Hope you're doing well. Good luck, love. Second story. My mom, female 39, cheated on my dad, male 40. Original post. So yeah, my 18 female mom cheated on my dad with her co-worker's husband, and I found out this is the 5th time she has cheated on my dad, and again with a different guy. At first I thought this was a just ordinary divorce, but everything blew over last night when my mom's lover's wife called my dad. I woke up in the morning and everything was in flames. My mom was gone, and my dad texted me from his work that the divorce won't be easy after all. I called my mom and he was with the guy talking, I guess. I wanted to hurt my mom's new boyfriend so bad. My mom tried giving me the normal excuses, like it just happened, or that it wasn't meant to go like this, but I told her she was dumb, and there would have been other ways. Now she's mad that dad is taking everything back and she's left with nothing, but I told her it was her choice. I texted the new boyfriend, and pretty much blew up on him. Now there's 2 marriages broken and 4 kids involved. I hate to say this, but I hope that when their honeymoon phase stops, they will realize what they have done and regret it. I'm really sad too because my mom was my closest friend, and I've lost her. I know she's there, but it will take a long time till we'll be that close like we were, or if we will ever be that close. I don't know, I just need advice how this is gonna move on, and what I should expect. Now for the top advice before reading the update. As a parent that lost my 16-year-old son due to my ex-wife's affair, just remember, you get to pick your tribe. I taught my son this his entire life. He chose to kick me out of his tribe, which is his right. You owe toxic family members nothing. I'm sorry you're going through this. Wait, you're the betrayed spouse, and your son is estranged from you. Same thing happened to me. My daughter, who knew all the details of her mom's affair, decided to choose her mom and reject me. Absolutely devastating. I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, I have rules and responsibilities, while my ex has laptops, cars for a 16-year-old, and no rules. It's hard to compete with that. That's horrible, but take solace in the fact that your mom is, and will always be a pathological cheater and will cheat on her affair partner or be cheated on after all the excitement and secrecy is no longer there. I'm so sorry for you and your dad. Time to go no contact for your own sanity and channel all that hate towards getting better for yourself and being better for your dad. Wishing you all the luck, OP. Hey, thanks for answering. Yeah, I know that she is like this now and she showed me her true colors, but I can't cut contact. It will be too hard on me. I will keep a relationship, but I told her I don't want to do anything with her new boyfriend and I need time to heal. I've got a feeling that this will happen again, but there's nothing I can do. Humans love to repeat history. Glad you won't be surprised by her future actions. Yeah, I won't. I'm just gonna be sad when she gets depressed. One thing that I know is my mom and dad are never coming back together, which is good, I guess. My ex cheated on me several times. It is soul-crushing. But I have come to learn watching my ex with my son. She only cares about her happiness, not our 10-year-old son. When she is in a relationship and happy, he gets the short end of the stick. When she is lonely, she smothers him and makes him be her happiness. I would suggest you invest in lots of quality loving time with your dad and have your mom as an acquaintance. Occasional contact, but nothing deep and meaningful. Otherwise, you will be the yo-yo. Every time she gets depressed, she will look to you until the next high comes along. Your dad needs lots of love and support right now. I wish you much luck in your journey. I'm sorry you have to deal with this. Remember, we are not our parents. We are their bad decisions. Do your best to not let our actions affect your future relationships. Yeah, I'm in a relationship currently, and I have learned a lot from Reddit, and our relationship is really healthy. We have always talked if something is bothering us so the relationship won't go bad. Thanks for helping. And now for the update. I talked with my dad and showed all of this and told him about this community. He said that you guys were right, even the ones who are saying he should have left a long time ago. I think he's glad that I kinda did this, I guess. But yeah, in short, I have been used and played with LMAO. My mom pulled me along like a dog on a leash. She twisted the story and made me think that my dad is all at fault. She started crap talking my dad in front of me when I was little and gave me stuff and made me scared of my dad because what he did back then. From the freaking day when I was the most hurt and open to anyone, she started it and made me hate my dad. But I didn't get it, and I don't blame myself. I know it can be clear to you guys right now, but it's just not that simple. Me and my dad are starting a new future together and building our relationship up again. After these years of not being close, I can't even fully remember the time we talked this much in one evening. Now I know why my mom's best friend left her, as she tried to sleep with her husband. Now I know why my dad's been so stressed out. Now I know who's clearly in the wrong 100%. My dad admitted that he cheated on my mom when they were 15, but that time only, so yeah. And when I told my dad about my depression and anxiety about my mom constantly crap talking him to me few months ago, I think he almost had a panic attack because he was so mad he just kinda left the room and went into another one to breathe. But my dad is a role model. He still wants me to have a relationship with my mom because of his bad relationship with his own dad. Even after all this crap, he doesn't want us to take sides and wants us to have a relationship with our mom. I don't know how he does this. He also told me that he feels like there's no rock tied to his leg anymore, and he can be free, and he's actually motivated to do stuff finally, so good for him. I'm gonna write more later. I have to support my little brother right now. It sounds like your mother is preparing to try to punish your father because he didn't leave after the first 4 affairs, and your father has found some self-respect. Expect that your mother will try to get you to take sides. All her decisions so far have been about putting herself first, at other people's expense, so I wouldn't expect this to be any different. Most likely, this will come in the form of, "if you loved me," or some other form of manipulation or guilt trip. Don't fall for it. Your mom is a serial cheater, so you should expect that this new relationship isn't going to work out either. Yeah, I'm not sure about the first one, but never know. My mom told me that I don't need to take any sides, and she loves me and my brother and won't leave us, but I kinda don't believe that because she's going with her lover, even though she saw me cry about the cheating multiple times, and first said that she will live with my grandparents. I will try to stay strong and not fall for her tricks, but I'm kinda weak right now, so I don't know. Even my grandparents know that the new relationship won't work law. Best thing to do is not doing it in your life. As for your relationship with your mom, the worst period for all of you is only starting now. You all will have to assess the situation after the divorce, when all the repercussions and the real hardship of the living conditions will be unveiled. Good luck. I won't do the same mistakes. I will try to avoid them. I have an amazing boyfriend right now who helps me, and we talk about things when things aren't going well. I will never cheat because of the hurt I know it will cause. I'm kinda just scared that it will happen to me, even though I have nothing to worry about.